Lizzo effect.
Mike, Lizzo
Yeah, it's
effect.
completely normal and fine to be obese. Like, no, it's
It's
not.
girl math. The scale says 400, but girl math, it's 150.
What the fuck is girl math? Catch a grip. Don't talk to me about girl math.
It's actually
What
a
is
term
girl
that
math?
women use. Google it.
No, they don't.
I've heard of
No,
it,
Yeah,
but I
they
don't know
do.
what it
I've
is.
never heard that.
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well, Belfast said it doesn't exist.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes, it
it's
does. That's what they say.
that's not true
It's
about
not a
Belfast.
man.
There are girls like in my age bracket that will use that term.
I
It's
understand. I understand where you're coming from, but girl math? Come on. There are some very stupid boys as well. Come
They
on.
say it. They legitimately say girl math.
I know. I've seen this. It's bollocks.
Well, is that the 666 thing? Like the 6-pack, 6 foot, 6 figures? Is that girl math?
No,
Oh,
but they would
certainly
like
not.
that.
hey, Logic.
No. Look, there's this idea in the manosphere, particularly, that women want, 6-figure, 6 foot, 6 inches.
6-pack. 6-pack. Yeah.
6-pack and 6 inches, right? This is not true. A lot of women are quite happy to, settle for somebody who will actually be nice to them, which is
Yeah, because they
strange.
could
But
cheat with the other nice guy.
You just said settle, though.
Yeah.
You just said settle.
Oh no! Cheating's only gonna hurt yourself in the long run.
Lust.
It's also
Um,
not a
German is
manosphere talking point, Belfast.
well, you like that? Did you like that?
It was
I
funny
like the
that you know.
manosphere.
No,
I like the
well, I
manosphere.
mean, did I like that? No, I'm just saying that like that talking point is not manosphere. That's just crazy entitled women who genuinely say that like they only will entertain a guy if he wants.
talking about men.
What are you talking about? Like we
I was
did not
talking about
invent
men.
that crazy standard that you have to make 6 figures and have a 6-pack and all that. Like that's guys being told this by women.
Gary, in the
Are you
same
Never
breath,
telling
heard.
me?
they
Oh,
say,
hang on a minute.
"Oh,
Hang on a
men will
minute.
fuck anybody. Men will fuck
Hang
anybody."
on.
But they're
Hang
so
on.
like this
Hang
with
on.
women.
Hang on. Which women are you getting to tell you this? Is it the 20-year-old women that are after that sort of stuff? Have you ever seen a middle-aged woman on there?
I would say
No,
that's
you
a
haven't.
certain form of feminism is
No,
telling young
no.
women to
Look,
look at
I've
I'm not
like,
never heard.
feminist.
themselves as
Come
like
on.
super special all the time. All women have to be super special all the time. Doesn't matter who you are. The woman is you are
No,
special and you
I
deserve
disagree
all
with
this.
that.
Guys don't see that guys don't see themselves.
I don't want to be this guy, but now that we have some people in here, let's put some hands up because it's getting pretty rambunctious. So just throw your hands up and we'll go in order.
I'll just land my plane.
You have too many
Real quick.
speakers.
If that's cool. Yeah, so I would say that like that ideal is actually being fed to women that most women actually would like as Belfast said, settle for a guy that doesn't have the 666 like thing going for him, right? But what's being fed to these younger women is that that's what they deserve and that's what they should get, and anything else beside that is unworthy to them, or they will be quote unquote settling in a way. By when people say I'm ready to settle down, it's different than saying I'm settling for someone. And so I would say that like when women say I'm going to settle, I won't settle for less than this, well then they have to actually bring something to the table. And a lot of these young women, they're so young and they haven't really experienced life enough to actually bring anything to the table, even to themselves yet. So it's like it's creating, I would say, like this false narrative that creates more divisiveness between men and women than it actually creates cooperation and understanding. So I would say it's actually part of that ideology that's causing the problem, and not necessarily every woman falls into the 666, but the men are not the ones creating the 666.
Go ahead, Jared.
This is a bit of a side note. Oh, just real quick. Did I miss something last night from your space? Because Ari's tweeting stuff that I'm not quite sure where it came from.
About what?
Probably none of your business.
About what?
Saying, wait,
About what,
Okay,
Sway?
sure.
Like you asked the question. Like about what?
Are you talking about the friend that made her look at something? Blah, blah, blah. That was me.
Congratulations, Jared. Your question's been answered. Go ahead, Belfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about, Jared. Obviously something between yourselves. But yeah, I see where you're coming from with the women who believe that they have to have a 666, otherwise, it's actually 4 6s. Um, Otherwise, I'm just settling for something, and I get that. But what I see is there's a lot of men, very prominent men, platforming these young women to say these things, and to take the piss out of them whilst they do so. It is quite interesting looking at it, and it's like, okay, so if those women were representative of every woman in the world, do you think they'd be on that podcast? I genuinely don't think so. It's very rare, um, that you'll find a woman that can actually argue a point with the several hosts who I respect quite greatly. It's interesting, and it is. I mean, I see why you would get a really good looking young 19, 20-year old in there. That looks great. She looks great. Of course she does. But is she going to be able to argue the same point as, like some 46-year-old frump? No, probably not. But it's interesting to me the way in which it's being framed, like as if, oh, women always want this. Whenever women who have, good relationships, and then you've got Pearl. I mean, Christ tonight. Have you met Pearl? Have you noticed Pearl? She doesn't represent most women. She waffles on about being a virgin whilst not being a virgin. She waffles on about marriage whilst not being married. She waffles on about, being this, that, and the other, whilst she's none of those things. That is interesting to me, that she is the person who has been bigged up and sort of set apart and went, oh yeah, no, we'll look at Pearl, because obviously she knows what she's talking about, even though she's not married, she's not a virgin, she's not someone who is, the only reason why she's successful is to do with men, because they're platforming her. I just find it a wee bit disingenuous, the way in which it's being framed,
But
and I
Belfast,
wonder. I
Belfast,
wonder what you think of that.
well, yeah, I would very much like to respond to that. So a couple of things. First of all, um, it's very weird to be making this argument because number one, um, like most guys are not even looking for someone in your age bracket. They're not looking for a middle-aged woman. They're looking for women who are younger, closer to their age, mid-20s, uh, or probably early 20s. So like that's who men are looking for. Number one. Number two, I mean, and not to get like personal or rude or anything, but you're not married either? Question mark. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, it was really funny that she started that statement by saying, yeah, the women saying all these bad things that affect women, but it's the men who platform them. It's like, so when the woman makes the mistake, it's still a man's fault. Like, get the fuck out of here.
My goodness. Go ahead, Jay. Black Jay.
Yeah, what I was saying was that, thank you for getting me up. What I was saying is that a lot of people get mad, and Belfast, I don't really know you that well, but I think a lot of times people get mad when Pearl says certain things and certain people say things, but they got to look at the context. What are they saying that other men are agreeing with? They're saying something that men are agreeing with. For the most part, I support Pearl's channel. 90% of the stuff she says, I agree with. I think that when men speak up and tell women what they want, they get demonized, they get shamed, they get guilt, they get, oh, that's not true, or you shouldn't want that. But when women tell men what they want a guy usually taller than them, making more money than them, being able to take care of them. They want to be able to have a job and work collectively. As soon as they have kids, they want to be able to stay home with the kid, and a man takes care of everything. That's most of the stuff that women want. But men listen to it and they say, okay, well, that's the one. I got to step up and meet that if I want this woman. But when a guy says, hey, this is what I want, women say, oh, you shouldn't want that. You shouldn't want that. You need to grow up. You need to this and that. It's always some type of demonizing, shaming, some type of tactic that comes along, and men are tired of it.
Okay, go ahead, Trickster. Okay, yeah, too late. Go ahead, Dumbcat.
Well, I would just say that, like, to what Shells is posting out there is a twist on this biological study that came out where women were at their peak when they're or peak fertility between 16 and 17. And then a lot of times that's actually brought up in the manosphere red pill spaces as this 30-year-old woman who has real estate and she's got status, she's got money, thinks that she's at her peak right now. And so what they'll actually be using that talking point for is actually to bring up the fact that, like, no, as far as biologically speaking, as far as like what a man's looking for, if he wants to start a family, he's going to look for a younger woman because she's more valuable to him at a younger age in those
No,
given
that's not what
situations.
Shells was talking about. Shells was
No, I
talking
know.
about
No,
a
I'm not saying that
16-year-old having
Shells.
sex. Yeah.
I'm not talking about Shells. I'm saying that that's a twisted, like, take off of a manosphere talking point that's based on a study. I'm saying that most manosphere people actually say don't, fuck kids, right? They're like they're not into that. They're not advocating for that in any way, shape, or form. They bring it up as a way of explaining to older women on their podcasts and stuff that you're beyond your prime, or you're hitting the wall, so to speak.
Go ahead, G.
Thanks. I don't know who this Pearl is. I've been missing out. So I'm just coming from the stance of many. Yeah, there are women out there without a doubt, younger women. I mean, there's some women out there who will be. It's only a handful. I can't imagine it'd be more. I've never known anyone personally, but they'll have men that buy them things, don't they, on the internet and things like that. But there are hordes of men, hordes of older men, who won't look at anyone over 30, and they could be 50, the men. They want a trophy. There are so many men out there who want trophy girlfriends, trophy wives. So I'm just playing devil's advocate and seeing it from the other side as well. So like when you make a comment that someone of like Belfast or myself too are single, it's probably because half the men want totty, quite honestly, and the other half, well, they're not good enough. And also they're following Andrew Tate. There's so many Andrew Tates out there now, and that's a really bad thing.